Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday night. Tonight is the night where magic happens. And the magic happens from all over the world, but really it's focused on the epicenter of magic, which happens to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Can you believe that?
Yes. Yeah, this is the place,
This
believe
is
it or
the
not.
place. We're coming to you
Number
live
one.
from the dungeon tonight, where Brian, you've got a special guest. Introduce your guest tonight.
I'd like to introduce the world to my good friend, Scott. Scott's been a DJ here in town forever. And
26 years.
26 years.
Yep.
Scott Thomas is a rock star. He is a rock star. Do you remember? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So no, that's sweet. That's great. Keep going. I was just gonna.
No, I was just going to ask if you remember who introduced us, because I do remember who introduced us. Do you remember who that was?
Was it Phil?
Yeah,
Yes. Ease, yes.
Ease. Yeah, Ease was a local radio personality. I think he actually worked in the mailroom, but he got on the air all the
he
time.
did, yeah.
It was like the widest radio station in Milwaukee. Like my mom listened to it, like old ladies listened to it, but it was like top 40 stuff, the non-threatening adult contemporary stuff. And Ease is like this brother in the mailroom. And whenever the person
He must have went to the bathroom or something, and he would get out.
right, when the person who was supposed to do like the weather couldn't make it, they would bring Ease in, and he did it to 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini.
Yeah.
He'd put that on and he'd do the weather, like in a real soulful voice. Yeah. So I don't remember how I met Ease, but I somebody introduced me to Ease, but Ease introduced me to Scott, and that was over 20 years ago.
And Ease is still in existence. I actually seen him last year.
Did you?
Yes. I hadn't seen him in years.
Ease.
Last year, he's doing all right.
Yeah. He's
still easing down the road.
He used to run a second mobile system that I had for a minute, and the guy would show up in like the NBC van because he'd borrow it. So there'd be like a news van in my driveway. People thought there was something going on at my house.
What did you do?
It was just Ease picking up gear. But yeah,
another crime scene again this week.
Yeah. So Scott has been a fixture in the DJ community here in Milwaukee for a long time. First time I ever saw you, and I don't know if I ever told you this or not, but the first time I ever saw you was at that Waukesha Wedding Expo.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Back in like 91.
Because that hasn't been around for a long time.
No.
Yeah.
You were there with Tracy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was you and the other dude who's like the old school guy in town. What's wrong with my... See, I talk to this guy all the time. Alan Jones. Al.
Okay.
Yeah. So you and Al are the rock stars there.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have your tuxedos on and all that. And I'm like in the balcony with some other dude with a couple of spinning puke lights going, hey, hire us. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I said hi to you, but I think you were more interested in talking to clients that day. You're like, hi.
You go away now.
Long overdue apology, I guess.
No, don't apologize. You were working. But so that's Scott and I. And I invited him on tonight because Scott does a lot of corporate events as well.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about. Wedding, corporate events, holiday parties for DJs. What's going on this year? What are you guys experiencing? This is what I'm experiencing. This is what Scott's experienced. We're just going to talk about a little bit how it differs from the wedding, how it differs from the school dance, and some of the things that work for us.
Yeah, that sounds great. What I'm going to do, gang, is I'm going to turn this over to Brian and Scott, and I'm going to stay in the chat room here with you. I'm going to if you have questions for them, I'm going to take those and get those together, and that way a little bit later in the show, we will bring those questions, and the three of us can discuss and debate and figure out what we can do to answer your questions.
Q&A.
So, guys, take it away.
All right. So have you done corporate events this year?
A few. I just had a corporate event last Thursday.
By the way, I called Scott an hour and a half ago.
Right.
And said, do you want to go on air with me? So we haven't talked about this or anything.
I had no idea what I was getting into. Besides, I was hanging out with my buddy.
That's good enough. That's good enough. So tell me about your events this year. Do you have as many as you had in previous years? Is it less? Is it more?
Well, I don't know about how it is in other areas, but it seems for the most part to not be as many.
Right.
And not be as many people even when you have them.
I've noticed since the big recession in 2008, that's when everybody cut back on that stuff.
Yeah.
But the ones that have come back for me have come back nice and steady. like it's repeat customers.
Mhm.
It's the same client every year.
Right.
That's the experience I've had.
Yeah, you get that, and it seems like, you know, when you're saying about cutting back, with also seem with some of the drinking and driving laws and who's responsible if something happens. I think that
Right.
also, because I remember one of the corporate events that I did, you know, this maybe like 10 years ago, there was a fatal accident like during the event. Fortunately, it was nobody from the corporate event,
Right.
but I know the talk,
Sure.
you know, from the people that, you know, that's because literally you couldn't hear, but people were out smoking and came back in, and it just kind of put a damper on that.
Right.
And it just seemed like after that, about 10 years ago, people stopped having as many, or at least giving the free drinks like they used to do, which, you know, in some ways has an impact on, you know, a corporate event.
You know, something really cool happened on Saturday, and I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but there was a line of people outside after the event that I did on Saturday waiting for Ubers.
That's good.
You know, and I'm wondering, since there were so many of them, I'm wondering if that wasn't a bought and paid for thing. Like maybe the company
reimbursement or
just
something?
paid for it. Yeah.
I mean, you have to use your credit card, but that doesn't mean
Maybe
that
the company
somehow
did
didn't
it, yeah.
reimburse them. You
Right.
know,
Part of the deal.
Yeah.
It was open bar all night.
that may be something for those out here promoting, you know, that are doing corporate events.
Yeah.
To throw in your, you know, in your marketing materials, or to mention, you know, as a way of people still having them or making
Right.
them safer, to recommend that, you know, the people there use Uber. I hadn't thought of that, but that's a great idea. And I actually drive Uber now.
I was gonna say you drive Uber
Hello.
too, right? So if you had like a minivan,
Yeah.
like an 8-passenger minivan,
Yeah.
you
You
could
can clean
bring
up.
4 couples
Yeah.
home.
Yep.
Hey, why don't you guys all pile in? I'll drop
Yeah.
you off in order.
Yeah.
You're gonna get home safe.
Yeah.
So that's 8 couples. That's 1 Uber, or 4 couples, 1 Uber.
Yeah.
Let's say you had 100 people at the party.
Yeah. You make 4 or 5 trips.
But even if you get 20 Ubers,
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Everybody's home safe. Everybody had a good time. That's a good idea.
I think
See,
it's a
we
great
just came
idea.
up with something here live on the show. I think that was, but I just thought of that when he said that. Yeah, the Uber was.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? You're going to Uber? And at first I'm thinking, well, you only live a few miles away. Then I thought, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
You were open bars. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So and it's not as expensive as cabbing. Usually it's less money.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
This is what I'm running into at my parties. This is a weird thing. I've done videos on. I've talked about it on Facebook. What I'm finding is my holiday party clients want holiday music during dinner and cocktail. Now, dinner and cocktail typically are lasting for a little over 2 hours.
It's a long time for holiday music.
Right. But they don't want unfamiliar holiday music. Like, if I play something that Kelly Clarkson sang, they get mad at me. They want the Nat King Cole version, or
Bing
they want-
Cosby.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want the classics.
Right. Right.
Here's my problem. If I do the same group year after year after year, am I playing the same tired ass old Christmas songs every year for them?
Well, not only that, but is there really 2 hours of classic Christmas song? I mean,
I did it.
yeah. I mean, you're you know, in
Again.
some ways you're stretching it. Yeah.
This is what I did this time. I went to my, because I've got a couple of just go-tos that I use. I use the it's a double CD I bought. Remember they used to be able to buy CDs on TV?
Right.
You know, they had one,
KTEL.
or yeah, whatever. They had one called Awesome 80s.
Uh-huh.
When the 80s retro thing came
Right,
out. And
right.
it had a couple tunes on it. So I bought Awesome 80s. And when I called to buy Awesome,
Mhm.
I said, hey, for an extra $10, do you want Rockin' Christmas? I thought, that sounds kind of cool. And it's actually a really good disc. It's got all the cool, like Run Run Rudolph
Mhm.
and the Barking Dogs,
Mhm.
Jingle Bells, and Elvis. And
Right.
Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Okay.
And
okay.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's like a solid one.
Mhm.
Beach Boys,
Right,
whatever,
right.
you know. This year I was like, you know, how can I fill some serious time, stuff I haven't been playing? And Marcus McBride, if you don't know who Marcus McBride is, he's the guy who runs Full Tilt Remix.
Okay.
He's a friend of mine on Facebook. I posted the question about, you know, what are some new classics we can play? He made the suggestion of some stuff off of the Charlie Brown Christmas album.
Oh, I always play some.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually always play Linus and Lucy
Right.
but I went deep into it.
Okay.
I was playing
You played the skating song. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. and,
Okay.
and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And those are long cuts.
Right.
The album cuts are long. They're
Right.
short on the show,
Right,
but they're 6 minutes
yeah.
long. That ate some time.
Right.
And it was so appropriate. People knew it.
People know. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do the Grinch
Yeah.
and all that
Right.
stuff. So yeah, that's what I had to do
Yeah.
to keep it classic, but keep it fresh.
So you're saying the new R. Kelly is not the classic?
No,
Okay, I'm just checking.
I couldn't do Snoop Dogg's new one either, which is nice, but I couldn't do it. It's actually really nice.
Yeah.
His is nice. Have you heard it? What the hell is it? Snoop Dogg doing Winter Wonderland. It's real pretty, but there's some girl singing over top of it,
Uh-huh.
and she ruins it.
Oh,
But
really?
if he was just singing it, it'd have been real cool.
He laid back.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
And he actually sang it. He didn't rap it. He sang it, and it was nice.
Okay.
Sounded
He's
classic.
diversifying.
He is.
Got to make that money.
So that's what do you plan when you're doing these holiday parties? When they ask you to play holiday music, what do you
I
play?
personally will try to, to throw in some Luther Vandross.
I do a lot of Alexander O'Neill,
I would, that's what I was trying to think of. I was coming up with somebody else, but Alexander O'Neill, I love
the
that.
soul stuff.
Earth, Wind, and Fire has some good.
I've
couple
never
good
done an Earth,
Christmas
Wind, and Fire
tunes.
Christmas
You
tune.
know, they have that holiday song. Plus, they actually have a Christmas CD
Uh-huh.
that sounds good. So I personally, I hear what you're saying, and it is true. People tend to want to hear those songs that are very familiar to them, that they grew up with.
Mm.
But I always try to work a few different ones in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do the soul tracks, like
Yeah.
Donny Hathaway this Christmas.
Right. Yeah.
Temptations.
Silent Night. you
That's
gotta
the
play
Temptations.
Yeah.
That's the one you
that.
play.
Long version.
Yeah.
Version. Gotta play the
That's the one you play.
But I mean, there's some
like
some BB King. There's some some things that are kind of off kilter, and I can't think of the name of it, but I have a remix of some of the classic
Mhm.
Frank Sinatra, but it's
Right.
got a real funky backbeat to it.
Right.
So I'll try to throw that because it's kind of familiar,
Right.
but it's not.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's okay. And I do fine with like Michael Bublé stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's all right. They don't
That
care.
sounds classic.
It's standard.
Yeah.
It's a standard.
Yeah.
So they don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Andy Williams or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it Thor Rosencroft who does the Grinch? I mean, what the hell else has he done? So but no, it's a challenge every year if you're doing it for the same group over and over again.
Right.
That's
Right.
the one thing that I have found. So, but what else are you doing at your holiday parties to keep them engaged? Because it's a little harder to
Well,
keep.
you always got to try to find out if they hire you for the first time, what happened the year before, right? Because you certainly don't want to
don't want to
duplicate
do
that.
whatever
right.
happened.
Whatever happened to the year before, you want to try to change some of that because
Sometimes they just say we just want to keep it fresh.
that's true.
Well, we just wanted to try something different.
Right.
And I
But I still
Yeah.
feel even then there was something that person didn't do
right.
after it was all said and done, or did do that
Right.
didn't sit well with somebody, usually part of the planning committee, because they're the ones who decide. And so to try to ask some probing questions as far as if it's the first time, what did you have a party last year? How did it go? Why are you changing? Like you say, to keep it fresh. Well, what would that mean? Fresh.
Right.
Some different Christmas songs, not playing Christmas, just to have an idea of what that means so that you can try to, satisfy them. And then
Right.
also try to, I guess the biggest thing about any corporate event, whether it's Christmas or any time, is to try, how do you break through that work talk,
Mhm.
so that they don't sit and talk about whatever it is that they talked about at the water cooler,
Right.
that they're doing it at the party,
Right.
to try to come up with a game plan, whether it's some activities or something, to try not to have that conversation going on all night.
This camera angle's pissing me off. I'm going to see if I can change it a little bit. Really
He's saying I'm a floating head because
yeah, he's wearing black.
I didn't. Yeah,
Kind of looks like
I should have known I was going to be in the dungeon, right?
I've done one thing at every Christmas party that I've done in the last 10 years that I didn't used to do at Christmas parties that I could think of anyway. And that is a huge amount of Spanish music. Musica Latino, huge.
There's some good Christmas.
There's a couple.
Yes, there's there's the classics, and then there's some other good stuff
Mhm.
that we just wouldn't think about playing. You're right. Yeah.
Right. But even for the dancing part,
Oh, yeah.
there was always that lull. It's like, okay, I used to walk into them and it was standard. You know,
Right.
you played the rock stuff, you played the dance stuff, you played the funky stuff, and the
Mhm.
R&B stuff. Now there's this whole other demographic. You got to jump in relatively early.
Right.
You can't, like, once the music starts, this is my experience. If I don't do something Spanish within the first 3 songs,
Mhm.
my Latino crowd will leave because they will say to themselves, you know what?
Nothing's going to happen.
They're
here.
not going to represent me
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
So, like, second song in, I'm doing the Suavemente
Right.
or something.
Well, and that's why, like I say, if I look at the crowd and I see some Latinas there, I might even during the if I'm playing Christmas music,
Mhm.
throw in a couple outside of
Jose
Feliz
Feliciano.
Navidad, right? So to let them
Feliz
know, like,
Navidad, yeah.
to let them know, like, oh, this guy may have something for me.
Right.
Just
Right.
throw him a little curveball. Especially early on, throw a couple things out there that are not, as long as the music's not that loud,
Mm.
it's not going to be probably offensive anyway. Just to let the different people in the crowd know that, yeah, I can go there,
Right.
if needed.
Right.
We can go in that direction.
Right. Now, as it gets later into the night, I might play a heavier rotation of Musica Latino just because it's cool then. I mean, a lot of people are at the bar chilling out.
Right.
So the girls are going to be out there doing the cumbia, doing the Selena,
Right.
whatever you
Salsa,
play.
yeah, yep.
They're going to be into it, even if there's a bunch of people at the bar. There's going
Right.
to be that one
Right.
group that will
Right.
stay. But I do try to mix it up for the first part of the night,
Yeah.
best I can. But I have found that if my I don't know, what do I want to say? If my non-Latino crowd is not responding,
Mhm.
my Latino crowd always will.
Right. They don't
And
need
if anyone ever comes up to me and says, why do you play all this Spanish music? Why aren't you playing any English music? I'll say, because you're not dancing.
dancing. Yeah.
That's
'Cause
why.
I have found that out forever. Doing weddings where if they like, I'll say, I don't want to say if they're Puerto Rican, but if they like salsa merengue, they don't need to, and that's usually the case.
Yeah.
They might move some tables at dinner time and start dancing.
Right.
They don't need to be drunk.
No.
They don't need to have,
It's time to go.
if you play the right series of songs,
Right.
they're ready to dance. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what time of the night.
Yeah.
Hey Scott, if you guys can hear me,
Yeah.
you mentioned, of course, that if you have some Latinos in the audience, as far as a mix like that, that you do something to basically show that you can go there. You mentioned that, Scott.
Right.
Right.
Does that carry over like at weddings also? If there's some Latino guests that you would,
Definitely. I mean,
Absolutely.
one of the, I'm trying to think of the Cuban group. There's a couple things that I'll play at dinner time that will let people, know that I have a different, looking, surveying the crowd, and sometimes, if it's a wedding and having talked to the bride and the groom and getting an idea of what their demographics are, I don't necessarily have a set playlist, but I'll have a couple songs kind of, on the side saying, okay, let me just throw this out here a little bit, just to let people know, like, okay, this guy can go in any direction. Because, yeah, I think sometimes when you're at a wedding and you're the only person, I'll say person of color there, you may have gone there, to give your respects and everything, but you may be thinking, oh, I'm going to be out here early because
right?
when they hear something kind of nice early on, outside of the cha-cha or the Cupid shuffle, they may say, oh, you know what? I may be able to stick around here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. And if you didn't pick up on it, you're not alone, because it took me a long time to figure out too. Scott's black.
Well, mixed. Anyway.
Mixed.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
but you
Right.
identify
Right.
as
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
Your father.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So you totally you get this cultural
Right.
thing.
Right.
You understand what it's like to kind of feel disenfranchised at an event.
Right.
So it's you empathize with the
Right.
client, and that's what I try to do too. It's like you have to have a little empathy for them, show them that you're there for them, and this is what's been so cool with Blanca, with these company parties,
Mhm.
because Mr. Whitey White DJ shows up, me, blonde hair, whatever, and the boss loves me. but who is this guy? And then she's standing next to me. It's like, oh, okay, we're represented too.
Right.
Even if she doesn't do anything,
Right.
just the fact that she's there means something to
Right.
them.
Right.
Sure.
Come up and talk to her in Spanish.
They do.
Which means a lot.
They absolutely
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
And I've told people, I was told a client on the phone earlier, I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. I don't comprehend it very well. I know the music fine. Music is no problem. I know my song titles and things like that. And I play by ear with the Spanish music. But Blanca's there to actually engage with the Latino guests. So if they have a request, they can come up and they can talk to her. They don't have to slow it down. They don't have to worry about the dialect they're using.
Right.
They don't have
You
to
don't
worry
have
about
to
the
ask them
slang.
4 times. What's the name of that song?
Right. Can you spell that out for me? You don't have to do that with Blanca. She just oh, okay, they want this. And if I ask her, hey, come on, how do you spell that?
Yeah.
How do you slow down, woman? I can't understand you. Then we can get it on for them.
Mhm.
So, but it's usually the case with the music, which I'm happy about, is when I hear them request things, I know what they want already.
Mhm.
I already know because I'm just so familiar with it.
Right.
But there have been times where they don't just come up and say a song title; they tell a story about it.
Right.
And then they ask for the song, and then I get lost.
Right.
So that's where she's there to help. But just again, the fact that she's there, period,
Right.
means something. Not only to Latinos, but all people of color.
Yeah.
They just see it as more of a
And I'm kind of fortunate when Maria goes with me because my fiance is Puerto Rican.
right.
She's very, she's a bilingual school teacher, so she's, been very helpful.
Right.
Certain events that I make sure that I take her to because I know she'll be able to, bring that level of comfort as
Mhm.
well as assist me, when I'm not sure exactly what that song is or how it go, the title of it, she'll know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Helps out a lot.
That's, is also
Because for those that don't know, Milwaukee has a fairly nice size Latino population here,
very,
Yeah.
very,
Yeah. and more.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they are this side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's funny that I can show you something a little later on, but my insurance company
Mhm.
has me down as Hispanic.
Oh,
It's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Must have
I
talked
feel
to her
cool
when-
now. I feel cool now. Yeah. It's like I've been white. Now I'm Hispanic. That's kind of neat. But no, it's a big part of those company parties though.
Yeah.
More so than I can ever
Well,
remember.
and I think the other thing is, not like I say, I don't know how it is in other places. I know in Milwaukee, there's quite a few bars where they do the salsa merengue
Mhm.
dance lessons, and,
Oh, sure.
and so that's huge.
Hot Water
So-
Warehouse.
Right. So there's so
Yeah.
many. I think it's a lot easier now to play music that maybe even 5 years ago you might have been leery to play except Suavemente because
It's become part of the
people are
culture.
going to dance to it,
Yeah.
even if they don't know exactly what they're doing. More people will be receptive. to
Right. And people hate on Suavemente, and I've defended it. I've defended the song. And the reason I defend it is this is a bridge. The song is a bridge
Yeah.
between, because everyone knows it.
Right.
Don't play Suavemente. A lot of DJs will say that, but I have never had a bad experience with dropping that track. And I
If
can
they're going to dance,
follow it
if
up.
they're going to dance to any salsa merengue,
If everyone's going to dance to something,
or
it's gonna be that
anybody,
track.
they're
Yeah.
going to dance to that, and then you can figure out if you need to go anywhere else.
Right. You want to switch it around. Let's say that
Right.
you were a white person at like a Chinese event.
Mhm.
Maybe everyone dances to Rock Around the Clock. Maybe
Right.
that's the song everybody
Right.
has in common.
Right.
But maybe nothing else
Works.
works. Right. It's kind of that.
Yeah.
It's just this bridge. And I know the song is like almost 20 years old now.
Right.
I think it is 20.
Nah.
Yep. I think it came out in 95, 96.
What?
Yep. We'll look it up later.
Anybody know?
Somebody in
Let
the
us-
chat room
Yeah,
will
let
look
us
it up.
know.
How old is Suavemente?
I don't think it's quite that. I'm
The-
giving it about 12 years.
No, absolutely not. That's not the latest that song came out was 98.
Get the
I
heck
guarantee
outta here.
you that song is
Okay.
almost 20 years old
Okay.
and it's still so current. I mean,
Okay.
it works and it's relevant.
Okay.
So please, someone in the chat room look that up. How old is that track? I think it's
Okay.
95, 96.
Okay.
It might even be older. I don't
I
know.
might owe him a Starbucks.
Yeah, well, it's always good when someone owes me a Starbucks.
That I know.
Someone's looking that up. But no, we did a real variety of stuff on Saturday. It wasn't just the salsa merengue stuff. We dove into the Selena,
Okay.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and the thing that nobody talks about my friend Art talked about it, was the Latino pop music and the Latino rock music.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you can play that too. But at any rate, you seem to be relate to your audience.
Yeah.
Something really funny happened to me at my gig on Saturday too. I was playing the variety of Christmas music, trying to keep it all Christmas music. I played like a Beach Boys Christmas song. And 1998, see? Mr. J. Funk Sanchez is 98. And so does Daniel. So yeah, the song's almost 20 years old.
Wow.
Ain't that crazy?
Wow.
It'll be 19 years old in January. So
I stand corrected now. I'm a Starbucks because it's certainly closer to 20.
always good with
Then it
somebody
was
who's in
12.
Starbucks. No, but I played the Beach Boys. I think I played Little Saint Nick.
Okay.
And there was one brother.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Latinos.
Mm-hmm.
There's one brother. And he walked up and I'm like, what is he gonna ask for? He says, hey man, can you play California Girls by David Lee Roth?
Wow.
I just have that vibe.
Okay.
After I heard that song, I want to hear something else beach.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? That is not a Christmas song. That's not a cocktail song. That's
Right.
not a dinner song. But I don't care. I'm going to play it for him because it's the only thing he's asking for.
Right.
And it's not.
Right.
It's weird, but it's
Right.
not unreasonable.
Right.
I'm going
Right.
to give it to him.
Sometimes,
This is company party.
sometimes when people throw you a curveball, you just got to roll with it.
And it worked. These people are eating filet mignon, and I'm playing California Girls by David Lee Roth at their Christmas party, and no one looked at me like I was crazy.
Okay.
Like it was the most normal thing in the world that someone would do that.
Okay.
And I think about that too with these company parties. I mean, I work for myself.
Mhm.
That's kind of Blanca and I's party every year. That's our holiday party.
Right.
We get a nice meal. We're treated well because we're there. We've been there for like 4 or 5 years in a row. They
Right.
keep having us back.
Right.
I don't know why, but
Right.
they do.
Right.
And I really, think about, wow, these people work hard, and this is the one time every year when they can kick it up a little bit. They can have some cocktails.
And
They
enjoy
can
themselves.
relax.
Yeah.
They're being thanked for all the work that they did.
Right.
It really doesn't matter what they ask for. I'm going to play it.
Right.
I'm going to play it.
Right. If you think they're going to, if you think you're going to get not everybody will do it because I read sometimes on Facebook, it's about keeping the floor full. But sometimes if the request is a reasonable request, even if I don't think a lot of people are going to dance to it, but it's really important to some people, as long as it's not something totally bizarre where it's going to, like kill the vibe, I'll let it roll sometimes.
Man, the party I did on Saturday, I put a gig log up, and there are probably some people out there who saw the gig log and they said, wow, that party wasn't very crazy. There were only 45 people at this party.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool part about this group is they're having fun, whether they're dancing or they're having conversation
Mm-hmm.
or they're having drinks or there's whatever. They don't have to be on that dance floor the whole time.
Right.
They don't. The only time I ever worry about any party, be it a wedding or company party, whatever, is if they're all sitting there with their arms folded and looking at me waiting for something.
What are you going to do next? Right?
That's when I'm
Like,
not
are you
doing
going
my
to
job.
self-implode or something?
So as long as they're entertaining themselves
Mhm.
somehow,
Mm-hmm.
be it dancing, be it drinking, be it, whatever,
Right.
I'm happy.
Right.
I don't care. As long as they're having fun and they're still there.
Mhm.
So,
Makes sense.
that's just, how I see it. So with that in mind, it doesn't matter what the hell you play, as long as it's fun. I don't want to play anything depressing.
Right.
Let's keep it up tempo.
Not at a company party.
Or yeah, and there's plenty of that.
Right.
Even in Christmas music. Oh my
there's
god.
there's some sad ones.
There's some stuff, I'm looking at like something cool to play.
Right.
Like not cool to me, I'm 45. I'm looking at the 80s and I'm thinking, okay, Prince, Another Lonely Christmas. No, she's dead. Wham, Last Christmas. No, she left him, you said. No, we're gonna stick to happy stuff.
Although I do like that Wham song.
I like it too, but
And it doesn't sound that sad.
no, it's like a Smith song. You're talking about dying, but it's up tempo.
Yeah.
It's goofy. It's real goofy. John, do we have any questions from the chat room?
They've been working their way around back and forth, talking about iTunes music and things such as that. So
So they're ignoring us. And
they
just
pretty
talking
much
about what
are.
we're
They
talking
pretty much
about.
are.
Like they do all the time.
pretty much.
They don't care what we say.
Yeah, it's
This is like school. The
Yes.
teacher's up there like trying to teach math, and the kids are talking about
Blah,
Pokemon.
blah, 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 blah.
It's just an excuse to get together.
yeah. The iTunes licensing was, or the little agreed to this terms and such is a big discussion of what's going on. So
Yeah. If anybody's read that, I want a book report on it.
yeah, the terms of service. The big point with that is, of course, for those who will watch this afterwards, they're talking about the terms of service. Basically, says that I got to look at the right camera. As mobile DJs, we can't use iTunes Music for public performance or to make money with it, and that's like almost all of your CDs that we bought in a day from Best Buy or Target or wherever. They say the same thing. So, like, no one's going to come and bust your party. So. We don't.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. We're talking about a public performance of music, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Most of what we do is not public performance. Most of what we do is private performance.
Yes, much of it is.
So like this is how it works, because people ask about this kind of stuff all the time, and I used to shy away from the question. It's like, look, I'm not an attorney. I don't know how to answer this, but I think I've read it enough where I can kind of say something here. If you are hired to do, let's say, a company party, a holiday party, like we're talking about, because that's the topic, guys, in the chat room. Let's say we were hired to do that, and we play all this music. This is a private performance. This is totally legal. There's nothing illegal about this. This is like going into your living room with your friends and playing CDs. There's nothing illegal about that either. So no problem there. If you are hired to go play in a bar and people are coming into that bar and all that stuff, that's a public performance. However, the ASCAP BMI royalty thing that they talk about, that umbrella goes under the bar. The bar needs to own that licensing and pay that licensing. So they're responsible for that. If you were ever in a bar playing music and somebody came in and started bullying you about ASCAP BMI as the DJ, look, there's nothing for you to buy. There's nothing you've done wrong. The bar could be in trouble, but you're not. And that goes for any public performance, be it a car show or a grand opening of a store or whatever the case might be. That's a public performance. But everything else is a private performance. Birthday parties, any kind of institution having a party, wedding receptions, whatever. So you can do whatever you want. I mean, technically, you could go in there and you could play the new Star Wars movie. I don't think they'd do anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like having people over and watching the DVD. So private is different than public. I think the discretion on that would be advertising it specifically. I think if you say you play music and you go in and you play stuff, if you go up and you say, I play Prince, I'm the Prince DJ, then I think it could get a little weird if you advertise it that way.
If you advertise it that way, and if you charged a cover charge to come in, if you were charging and say, hey, I'm going to be playing this movie this weekend and it's going to cost you $5,
then you got a problem.
Then you got a problem.
Absolutely.
A couple of things here. Somebody was asking about some games and activity ideas for the corporate events.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll put that on the agenda. And the question that I want you to hit first, though, is somebody's asking, how do you feel about playing love songs at some romantic, mushy, slow songs at a corporate event?
I play them. And I try to play the same songs, the slow songs. I try to pick the same ones I play for a wedding. They're positive.
Right.
Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton, is the kind of thing I like to play at a corporate event. I don't like to play breakup songs anywhere. Do you?
I mean, yeah, you don't. I mean, I if you look at it, at events where there's couples,
yeah,
why wouldn't you? I mean, one of the reasons, I don't go out. It's not necessarily that I don't like any of the music. That I don't go out as much, like to go dancing. But I have a fiance, and you go out nowadays, and they never play any slow songs, right? It's like,
right.
You go out, and so to me, if I look around the crowd and I see couples there,
it's an opportunity.
I'm certainly going to try it. I mean, if they don't work, then you don't do it again. But
they always work though.
Yeah,
oh my
but
God,
normally they do, because they're there. They probably got a babysitter for the kids,
Right.
so they're there on a date. They're
It's basically what
they're
it
there
is.
for the company function, but it's also looked at as a date night.
Right. It's not a hookup.
Matter of fact, I just saw that on Facebook
Usually.
last week. Some friend of mine was saying they were going on date night. Then later on, they posted, and it was his company party.
Right.
So that was their date.
Mhm.
So I would hope for them that if they had a DJ or any music playing, that somebody played a slow song.
Oh yeah, she's all dressed up. He's all
Yeah.
dressed up.
Yeah.
And they got screaming kids.
They
They're
got
busy
2
all
kids,
week.
I know, and they don't get out often.
And the best they
Yeah.
can do is a movie sometimes.
Yeah.
They're not getting all
Yeah.
dressed up for that.
Are you guys looking at my life? I mean,
Sorry, John.
Well,
that's
you
what it
know,
is. The kids are screaming, and when we finally do dress up, we
then you would want a slow song.
I
Then.
would want a slow song.
we were discussing you today. I was Blanca said, "How many kids do you have?" I'm like, 6, I think. That's right, 6.
Yep, 6.
She's like,
See, part
and
of
this
that,
is the
part of
Latino
that,
woman
John.
shock that
Part,
you guys
part of that,
like
John,
kids.
is you may have heard too many slow songs. 'Cause I can get that.
It's true. Slow songs must work for me.
bow, chicka, bow, bow. Hey, Laura, come here.
Uh,
They're playing Patsy Cline again. Shania Twain's on again.
but wait, it's an upbeat song, doesn't
You
it?
know what happened last time. It won't happen this time, I promise. Sorry. I don't know if we even answered the question. What was the other one?
That was one.
That was
Oh,
one.
and then doing any kind of games or
Games
activity.
in corporate. I'm gonna
Yeah,
let you guys talk
yeah.
about games in corporate for a minute here, and I'm gonna keep back to the chat room here.
I'm not doing games for corporate parties anymore. I used to, but I don't do them anymore.
I mean, I'm certainly open to doing it. It's trying to find out if that's what they want,
Right.
and or I'm more apt to ask those to try to do it, or at least something maybe during dinner or cocktail time, because that might be part of the reason why they're hiring somebody new, because
Right.
they felt the person was just there playing music and didn't interact. So I certainly would, suggest it and maybe give them 3 or 4
Right.
different options. Not try to. I mean, I know there's some DJs that they do activity after activity.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily me.
I can't do that anymore.
But certainly, I always try to offer, hey, would you like to try this? Would you like to try that? Whether even at a wedding where it's, for clinking the glasses, to make an offer of, we
Right.
could do something a little bit different than that. So,
I used to do mixers at corporate parties.
Mhm.
Remember the mixer?
Right.
I used to do that. I stopped
Okay.
because anyway, when I'm looking out there at the crowd, people are engaging with one another. It's not like they're complete strangers.
Mhm.
These people know each other. There's one person in every couple who at least knows the other half of the people there.
right.
Half of the people may be strangers, but they're being introduced around. Photo booth is cool. That's a cool thing to break things up, to bring in photo booth.
Right.
If you're not into dancing, it's a cool thing you can bring home. It's props. That's kind of a cool thing. That's kind of replaced the games, I think, a lot of times. And the other thing, and it might sound like a cop-out, but really, I have never done a company party where they have not wanted the goofy line dances. They
Oh
want,
yeah. They're gonna. Yeah,
they want
yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
And I play line dances until I got no more line dances to play.
Mhm.
They love them.
Right.
And they don't know how to do them, but that's okay.
I think
I play them anyway.
with the line dances gives them, I guess, a comfort level, right? That they
Mhm.
can all get out there together. And,
Right. They
yeah.
try to teach each
Yeah.
other how
Yeah.
to do it. And one person's doing it one direction, one person's doing another direction. And
Mhm.
but it doesn't matter. They're having fun. So that's kind of how I try to engage them anymore, and with those kind of things.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, I can't punctuate this more. The arrival of the Latino culture at these company parties as a norm is damn near an activity, with the salsa, with the merengue,
Mhm.
with the cumbia. This is stuff that people watch, and then they want to learn, and they want to get involved, and they want to try it.
Mhm.
This is engaging. This
Yeah.
is very engaging.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm certainly open, and I would
Right.
certainly do some things. All depends on what the client. At the end of the day, I'm going to do what they want.
But I'm like you. I don't go in there and say, "Hey, everybody, we're going to play a game," because I know that 3/4 of the people in the room or more are going, oh God, do we really have to do this? I don't want to do this.
Reminds them of a staff meeting where they have to do those.
Right. Okay, everybody, let's do jumping jacks. Let's calisthenics in the morning or something. Yeah. Man, I'm all dressed up. I don't want to do this goofy stuff.
Yeah.
But there are things. I mean, like there's always some kind of centerpiece
Right.
thing. Look under your chair. You win
And usually,
this.
usually at corporate events, they're giving away something.
Right, there's
there are
raffles
prizes. You can have fun with that.
Yeah.
The way you do that. And,
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm with
Usually every
you.
time there's a raffle, I always win something. I mean, even though I don't work there, I
I don't-
never enter, but
Yeah.
I just win something.
It's good. Yeah. Every year we at this company party that I've been doing for the last, I don't know, I think it's 5 years now. They have a TV every year.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking to myself, who doesn't have a damn TV by now?
Right.
But they get so excited about this LG.
People like to win anything.
55-inch TV.
It doesn't have to be much of anything. People get excited about winning anything.
And that used to be a big
Yeah.
deal, but now you can go to Walmart and buy this damn thing for $400. They're losing their minds over this TV every
It's
year.
still free, and they want
Yeah.
it, right?
Right.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, and they're giving away a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've got cool gift cards. This raffle goes on for a good 45 minutes. It's not even a big group.
Now, do you like to break the raffle up, or do it all at once?
Do it all at once.
Okay.
Because when you break it up, when they try to cut, when I had this one company that does this, they want to do some raffle before dancing, and then they want to stop dancing
Mhm.
and do more raffle, which just gives people an excuse to go home.
Okay.
Well, if I didn't win anything after this raffle, when the music starts, DJ's gonna start back up. You know what? Raffle's over. I'm out of here. That's
Okay.
the attitude
Okay.
that I have found that this group has. So I lose a bunch of people. So why don't you just do this all before dinner? And then maybe they would stick around for dancing. It's like anything else. Once you're interrupted and you woke up out of your trance,
Mhm.
you're like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? Oh, you know what? What time is it? Let's get the hell out of here. But if you're having a good time and everything's just the continuity's right, where did the time go? Wow, it's
Mhm.
almost midnight or it's almost 2 or whatever.
Mhm.
That's just human nature, I think. So continuity is so important no matter what kind of gig you're doing. When you get breaks, whether it be someone butting in to want to do a raffle, somebody butting in to want to do a speech, or quite frankly, dead air, you've broke continuity and you will lose people.
Okay.
That's just what I've found
Yeah.
throughout my 5 or 6 years of doing
No,
this.
I mean that I just asked because I know sometimes people wanted, can we do some now and do some later?
Yeah.
And especially if like you say, if you got them out there and you got them, in a groove,
Mm.
just like at weddings, after certain activities are done,
Yeah.
there's always that, there's sometimes a percentage of people that may leave.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a break in continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fortunately, the one that I'm having so much fun with, I mean, we're all on a first name basis. We're all friends now. It's just a breeze. We know what the other person's going to do. They were so pleased with my new wireless mic, by the way. They really liked it, that it had the red and the green.
Oh, yeah.
Red, mute, green for go. Because they were so used to my stuff. Like, hey, we got a new mic. Like, oh, this is fascinating. And they had so much fun with it. It's like, they got something new.
Guys, let's talk about props. Using props at the event. Some people have talked about in the chat room that they've been using props with more success than games at events, and I've actually found that myself with a couple of my weddings. And I have my corporate party coming in January. That's where mine are. And I've been toying around with just basically doing like we did at the weddings, where we had a table and we had hats and like your photo booth props, but have them just for the dance floor. So
That's smart.
what are you guys thinking as far as corporate events?
I think if it's a holiday party, why not holiday props? Why not Santa hats?
Yeah.
And
Because people like the other thing that everybody has a phone as their camera, and so anything that you can do where they can take some cool pictures, put them on Facebook, send them to each other. Why wouldn't you do it? I don't necessarily put the stuff out. I mean, I do have a photo booth, so in that case, it would be kind of being watched, but I like to kind of bring stuff out every now and then, because then they're like, what else do they have back there?
right,
Instead
Don't bring it all out at
if
once.
everything is out there,
right,
then one, they might swarm and just take it, and then it kind of loses its luster.
Bringing some
and
new
another
stuff out
part,
of 10.
if I bring a couple hats, put out some glow neck. Oh, do they have any more? Do they have this? And so
That's a good idea.
That's what I've always done is just bring
Switch
stuff
it
out,
up.
a little at a time. And I might even have more glow necklaces
I like
that I
that.
might give out an hour later.
I like that a
He's a
lot.
tease.
So
He's a
that-
tease.
yeah, kind of tease them,
Well,
kind of, because I've, whether it's been with kids or adults, I've had people come, what else you got back there?
It's like lighting.
And I always say,
yeah.
you'll have to wait and find out. You have to stick around for a while.
If you're running like 8 lights all night long, full blast, who cares? But if you got like a centerpiece light or something crazy weird that you blow off for 10 seconds, then you turn it off. What was that? Oh, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You're gonna have to show up tomorrow to see it again because I ain't turning it on again. I love doing that. Just like that one-off effect, you know, almost like an explosion, or like if you had the the Fog Fury jets where you just make the you just do it one time. Like, what was that? What are you talking about?
Like even with my photo, I have a photo booth and then I make these the flip books. And even with both of those, I have a bunch of signs. I don't ever put all my signs out. I don't ever put all my props out. At some point during the night, I'll grab some of them, put them in the bin, and put some new ones out. Because if somebody comes back, it's like, I didn't see that before.
Right. I got to go in again.
Exactly. It makes it.
It
makes what they did, just even though they did the picture or make the book again, it just makes it a little bit different.
Scott, you are
Good
wise.
idea. Very good idea.
You're wise.
Or lucky. I don't know.
No, you're wise.
Wise.
That's good stuff. No, that's good stuff. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
So that would bring even a new dimension to what you're talking about. You put that prop table out, maybe the beginning of the night or a half hour in, you throw something out there, and maybe at 10 o'clock, throw something a little different out there.
Yeah.
Give them something to look at and pull at. Maybe you do something different at 11 o'clock. Yeah, I like that a lot. That is so smart. Just slowly feed it out, I guess. So good stuff.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
It would be like going to me, like playing all the line dances, all of the cha-cha, the Cupid,
Wobble.
the wobble, all in a row.
I do.
I don't.
Get them out of the way.
I don't. I mean,
You break them up.
I want to break them up.
Yeah.
I want to break them up. I want to make, I want to try to keep them there, keep me, you know what?
Yeah.
And if they even ask for one when I'm playing the other one, I'll say, you know what? That's a good request. I'm going to play that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Only there's a few exceptions where I may play a couple in a row, but I'll take a risk of, can I get something else that's going to keep them on the dance floor versus do all of that?
Yeah.
Because then with some people, then they're leaving.
I held the wobble back. I held it back until the last song of the night on Saturday. But the rest of them, but I dug so deep. I mean, they were loving them. I was doing, there's this damn song, and I apologize for not having the exact name of it on the tip of my tongue. But if you do, and I'm going to give you the title of this thing, I own it. If you're doing an event where you have some Mexicans there and they're into it's a Spanish version of Achy Breaky Heart.
I've heard that before.
Oh,
I don't
my
have it, but I know I've
God.
heard it before.
It's a line dance.
Yeah.
I played that for the second song last night. They lost their damn minds. We did Macarena. I mean, I was digging into everything I had, and they were.
You know what? The Macarena has a resurgence in
It's
the last
back.
couple of years. Last couple of years, every time
It's
I've done it,
back.
it has been a hit.
Oh,
No
God,
matter
yeah.
what event. I don't care if it's kids.
Right.
I don't care if it's a wedding. I don't care if it's a court. The Macarena has come back,
Well, you know what? I look at the Macarena.
whether you like it or not.
It's kind of like Safe House.
Yeah.
Remember Safe
I
House?
remember when you were there. Yeah.
Okay, well, Safe House in the 1960s, the Safe House was cool.
Mhm.
By the time I was playing there in the 90s, it was dated and kind of cheesy and
Right.
goofy, but
Right.
that was the spot where you could go and have some fun.
Right.
And then when Austin Powers came out, it was
Bounced
cool
back
again.
in. Yeah.
Right. And it's ever since.
Right.
Because of the whole Austin Powers phenomenon. It was so
Well, and then James Bond got popular again. And,
right, but
you know,
the
some
whole
of the-
60s
Yeah.
part of
right.
it
Yeah. Exactly.
got fun again. And I kind of think that's how the Macarena is. It got to the point where it was kind of dated and ridiculous for a while. But here we go another 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That song is from 1995. It's a classic. So it's 20 years old.
I'm not going to bet. I'm already on one coffee.
It's from 1995.
No, I agree with you on that.
It's on a CD called.
I'm with you.
I bought that. I
Yeah.
originally bought that on a CD called Dance Mix '95.
Yeah.
And it had 2 tracks on it that I played. One of them was Macarena, the Bayside Boys remix, and the other one was that damn Scatman John song. Remember Scatman?
Yeah, Scatman.
I'm the Scatman. Yeah, which means poop, which is always funny to me. But yeah, there you go. Cabello Dorado
Is it
is the band.
Funk Sanchez? Is that it? Is that the Achy Breaky Mexican version?
That's the band.
Okay.
No Rampas. Yeah, that. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
That's the one. No Rampas.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. It's real solid. It's good.
Thank you, fine sir.
Enjoy that one. So, anything else we want to throw into the show before we tell John to go ahead and turn it off?
Any last minute questions or thoughts?
Did you like Scott? Should we never have Scott back ever again?
I think they were really
Did
appreciating.
Scott suck?
No, they appreciated the rotating of props. That
I think that was this is what it's all about. I mean, people talk about shows like Mobile Beat. Oh, I went to go see this guy and that guy, and I took notes. And you know what? It's dumb shit. Not dumb shit, but little shit.
Okay, I got
No,
you.
it's
No coffee for him.
it's the goofy
No
random
coffee for
stuff.
him.
It's the goofy random stuff that you hear from people, like when Scott says rotate the props.
yeah,
It's like, why didn't I think of that? And you'll take that home with you, and you'll do something with it.
Yeah.
This is the whole point of these shows, and the trade shows and the networking in general. You can listen to people talk all day long, but it's a little stuff like this that you just catch that's going to make a big difference, I think.
for sure. Good stuff. Good stuff. Just want to make sure we don't have anything pop up here, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, Howie loves you. Howie's a good guy.
Yeah.
Howie's a good friend of ours. Howie subbed for me when I was in Italy.
Cool.
Came on the show and said some really cool, deep stuff.
Yeah, he had some good stuff. He
I
showed
like
some-
his name, Howie Darkstar.
Like
I like
you got to go.
Somebody
with
has somebody has an important question.
Oh, who does?
Mike.
Mike has an important question. Who's?
Mike Chilson. Do you guys have any suggestions on
You
how to
know,
get your
I
D
mean,
business in front of?
Nowadays, to me, the cheapest way of getting in front of anybody is on Facebook. Because everybody I mean, if you want, I mean, hopefully everybody has a job, right? I mean, not everybody does, but most people will, right? And what I find, because I get on my Facebook page, I talk about all kind of crap. Some of it, is it gets deep, right?
Yeah, you.
But what I don't do as often as I probably should is let people know that I own a DJing business.
But everybody knows you in a
But,
DJ.
but everybody does, but they don't always remember
Damn.
that. It's not. So
No,
oh, okay, okay.
You've
It's
been
not top of mind,
right.
and so then when they have their party or somebody's planned it, it's too late. So one of the things I would suggest, be doing if you're really looking at it is letting people know probably in August, reminding
That's
your
what I was
friends and
thinking.
stuff of that. Hey,
Right before school starts.
if you know anybody, whoever, if your company has a summer picnic or whatever, keep me in mind. Because what you'll find is people actually will keep you in mind. What I find is when I do that, I get results. I just don't always do a good job of it. I would say this past, I don't DJ all the, I don't try to, work every weekend. It's just not my thing. I'm a school teacher.
This dude has been he was a cop one time.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of different things, but I'm a school teacher. So I don't want to work every weekend. But what I did this year is I bet you I booked at least 6 or 7 weddings this year off not necessarily off my my DJing Facebook page, but just off of my Facebook page where, okay, Ian,
Sorry.
that floating head. Okay, you're sounding like one of my students, and you're pissing me off.
Scott's like, I would wear all black. Hey, you got a little floating head.
No, but anyway, I bet you I booked, quite a few things this year. Just okay, now flawless urine on this. Okay, all you guys are pissing me off.
There's like a 30-second delay out here.
Okay. Anyway, but just periodically let people know what you do. Not necessarily asking them hey, book me, but just let people know
Hey, this is what I do.
and post pictures of events that you did so people keep it in mind. And like I said, I did 2 weddings this summer for friends of mine that I went to high school with, their kids, because they saw me post about stuff, me doing other people's weddings.
Right.
So that's, to me, the cheapest way where you could do it, because like I say, most people are working somewhere, and just let them know that, hey, on top of doing these weddings that you see me talk about, I also can do corporate events too.
I got a friend, and I haven't spoke to him in a while, but he taught me a lot. Joe Fuccini, and he said something to me one time. This guy has been in PR longer than I've been alive. He's very smart. He's worked for Warner Music. He's done work for DJ. He's done work for Chauvet. Really, really smart guy. Great guy. And he told me something a few years ago that just resonated with me. He said, today, you are your own best marketing platform. So what that means is you could hire somebody to come in and design your website. You could hire somebody to do a lot of your advertising, or you could do a TV commercial and have an actor come in and do it. But you are your own best advertising marketing platform. So when it comes to the DJ business, it couldn't be more true. If you're on Facebook and your friends are there, or your clients are there, or whatever, let people know exactly what Scott said. If you let them know, hey, this is what I do, word's going to get around. You're going to be able to do it better than anyone else can do it for you. People buy from people they like. This is the rule. In the car business, we always said that, if I sell a brand new Ford F-150 and the guy down the road sells a brand new Ford F-150, they're the exact same truck, they're brand new, same color, same options, everything else, same price. The customer is going to buy that truck off of the salesperson they like the most. People buy from people they like. And so if you get out there and you're cool about it, not pushy, but just, hey, by the way, so everybody, and Jimmy Spinn does a good job at this. James De Palma, he's on his Facebook, and once in a while, it doesn't happen a lot, but once in a while he'll pop up and say, hey guys, just remember, if you want to book your holiday parties with me, now's the time. I'm open for this date. He does it. He does a good job with it. And how he does it too. So yeah, brilliant. This is the best way to advertise. Let people know what you're doing. Remind them, hey, I'm a DJ. I mean, I think everybody knows I'm a DJ. I've been doing this since I was a kid. Right, then I knows I'm a DJ.
Right.
In fact, the big question is, are you still a DJ? Yeah, still a DJ.
Well, and it's funny because I'll do some corporate parties or get calls for schools and other things. If my site is just about weddings, so I don't have a other event tag,
Right.
Link on my site. It's just about weddings, and people still contact me because I do promote myself on Facebook, and they'll say, "Oh, do you do this? Do you do that?" And sometimes it's just random, and I'm like, "Did you not look at my site and just see that it's all about weddings?" But I've been doing it a long time.
It's
on
all about weddings.
Well, that's not the name of the site, but
it was all about honeymoon.
yes, when I did.
That's the one it was. Yeah.
But it's just, I guess once the people contact you, if you let them know, give them that comfort level that yes, I do mostly weddings, but I'm very confident, and give them some examples of things that you can do for them. Hey, you're good to go. But certainly, Facebook is free. Most people are on there quite a bit.
Yeah.
So why not use it?
I specialize in weddings, but I do other things as well.
Yeah.
But my specialty is weddings.
Yeah.
I can also throw a hell of a holiday party.
There you go.
And I can do brisks. Well, I can't do the brisk, but I could DJ for a brisk. All right.
Cool stuff, guys.
I could probably do a brisk.
We need to wrap it up here. We have reached our hour tonight, and we want to let Scott go because he's probably got kids in the morning that he'll have to get back to.
Oh yeah, they'll be waiting for me, whether I'm waiting for them.
Yeah, I remember those days very, very well from the teaching.
Yeah,
days.
John
Oh, you
was a teacher.
taught? Okay, then
Yeah, I
you
was back in the mid-'90s before I really went into. I was kind of doing both at full-time DJ and a full-time teacher for a couple of years, and then the DJ took over, and
Okay.
so
Okay.
So
Yeah, he teaches at MPS, Milwaukee
Yep.
Public Schools.
Yep.
He's like a
6th to 8th
he's like
grade.
a ninja.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. middle
With
school stuff.
patience of steel.
I got the kids with behavioral issues. So
Oh.
it's never a dull moment.
I had the little kids. I was in first and second grade, so my size and being male was enough to keep them in line 90% of the time. Great
Thank you
stuff.
for watching, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
It's been enjoyable. Thanks for inviting me, Brian. I
Hey,
enjoyed
you
myself.
come anytime. We
Okay.
do this every Tuesday at
I'll
9
come back.
o'clock.
I'll come
Please,
back.
anytime. Just
I'll come
come
hang out
just
with you.
walk in.
Okay.
Don't knock, because then I got to get up.
Just walk right in. Hopefully
Yeah, well,
Brian's
you're
wearing pants
supposed
there.
He
to.
told me that, but I don't
That's
do
what you're
that.
supposed to do when you come
I
to my
have
house.
manners. I don't do
You
that.
walk in, because
Plus, a lot of people have guns.
No, I don't have a gun. If you knock, all you do is piss off the dog.
That's true. That
And then I got to
dog
deal
is-
with that. So if you just come in, it's like, hello, oh, there you are. I heard the door.
Okay.
Oh,
Ne-
who's that? Oh, it's
Next
God,
time,
that's cool.
I'll text.
Just walk.
I'll text, knock, and come in.
Just walk in.
Okay.
Text, knock, and walk.
He's got it.
Got it.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for
Okay.
watching. We will be back again next Tuesday night with another show. And then, gosh, we're going to have a Christmas break, I think, coming up.
What? Break
No.
for Christmas?
We'll have to see,
Break for
see what
Christmas?
happens around at Christmas time. You know, that's coming up. And we'll have to see. Maybe we'll get festive and put on our Christmas hats or something.
You know what? That's okay. Ian,
Uh-oh. I think you will get
In the chat room, for those of you watching this later, it
I'm
says,
wearing a different color next time.
Ian says DJ Floaty Head did a great job. If you guys remember my some of the first videos we did, I wore a black shirt and I had my black background. So yeah,
You
Right.
learn something new every day,
You
right?
learn-
So I
you
tell
learn
my
it.
students.
uh,
Next time, no black.
there you
I'm
go.
going to call you DJ Floaty Head from now on.
All right, everyone, have yourself a great week. We'll catch you next week. Good night, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Bye bye.